All right, and welcome to another episode of the Jumping the Rail podcast here on the JTR Podcast Network. This is Mark Ribbon coming to you with the Noodles position in Champaign, Illinois. Joined as always by my buddy Minderz. And
It never
Minderz,
gets old. It never gets old.
I can tell you giggling like a fool every time you see that headset go flying on that video.
Every time I see that headset go flying on the openers, I love it.
Well, Minderz, we've been talking about this for a while now. It is the start of Square Circle Expo month here on the Jumping the Rail podcast. Every week we're going to have somebody that has either been announced or helps out with it going to be coming on to talk with us all through April. And I think we have a good start. Our guest today has been at every expo I've been to, and probably the one before that that I wasn't at. But I know, seeing as you're a super fan, would you like to do the honors, Minderz?
I would. Let's bring him in, the veteran Jack Vaughn. You gotta love it.
Hello.
Hi. It's been a while. We've been wanting to get you on here for a long time.
Yeah.
But all right. So
sorry.
No,
I don't do a ton of podcasts, but also I'm just in general just kind of a busy guy. So I usually don't. The fact that I have an entire Sunday where I don't have something going on is a very rare occurrence.
I was actually surprised when you said it would work. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. yes, we will do it. Okay, so the first two questions we always ask our guests. Mm-hmm. One, who inspired you, like wrestling wise, WWF, ECW, whatever, the bigger stuff, to get into wrestling? And then how did you get into the business?
The big one for me was The Undertaker. He's been pretty much my favorite wrestler since I was a very, very little kid. And but trying to narrow it down to just one wrestler is kind of tough. I mean, obviously he's my favorite wrestler, but like I grew up watching Macho Man and Mr. Perfect and the greats. So it's kind of an amalgamation of all of them. And then as far as how I got in, pretty much everyone of my generation did backyard wrestling at some point, and I was no different. So I had a backyard fed in high school, and there was about 4 of us that all decided, hey, like we would actually like to pursue wrestling. And I had a guy at the gym that I went to knew that I wanted to get into wrestling and saw an ad in the newspaper back when those were still a thing.
Right.
An ad in the newspaper for the Shark Tank Wrestling School being run by Shark Boy. So I went to his website and signed up and told my friends about it, and we all signed up.
One of Minder's all-time favorite matches involves Shark Boy that I make her watch on a regular basis. The old Fish Market Street Fight from TNA with Sharky and Curryman against the Dudleys.
It's a great.
And I shake my head every time.
What's the problem?
It's what Foley does to the fish.
All right, Mr. Slap Thigh. Thigh slap.
Yeah. Where do you think I got, like, it's where I learned to do shtick.
Well, okay. I'll give you that.
Real quick, can I compliment you on the Montreal Expos t-shirt, by the way?
Well, thank you. I'm a big baseball guy.
I'm a Cubs fan, but the Expos were my other team when I was a kid. Because
I love, obviously they're not around anymore, but I love the old logo, and I love like the hats, and
yes,
they were. I was a big fan of Vlad Guerrero and Pedro Martinez when they first played. So so I saw this shirt. I was like, I gotta represent the Expos.
Yeah, see, I got a few years on you. I'm from the Tim Raines, Andre Dawson period in the 80s into the 90s. So
yeah,
we actually had a guy that went to my high school several years before me. Darren Fletcher was a catcher for the Expos in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
So
I'm very familiar with Andre Dawson, but I knew him as a Cub.
Yeah, that's how I got into it. But then I would go back and watch him when he was young, like with the Expos. Yeah. But yeah, you don't see a lot of Expos fans around here, so I had to appreciate that a little bit.
Well, thank you. I actually got to go to Montreal last year. That was fun.
Nice.
I said, let's go back to wrestling. You guys are all on the baseball talk, and I'm like, well,
speaking of Expos, Squared Circle Expo.
Hey,
that's true. Squared Circle Expo.
Masterful segue.
Yeah, yes. You're so good at it. Reb's not great most of the time, but you're good. And I'm actually going through. Reb.
Yeah.
What is one of the questions you want to ask? Because I have a ton, so I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, I'm gonna ask because Jack, you are by far my favorite TikTok follow with all the stuff every week. How did you start doing that? Like where do you come up with your subject? And I mean, it's probably pretty easy to tell where, but like, when did you decide to start doing the TikTok videos?
So when I first started, this is probably like 2021 or so. I didn't get rid of my social media, but I basically made my social media to where it was all like Jack Vaughn related. I didn't put any personal stuff on. I wanted it to be all in character, stuff like that. And a lot of it was just like pictures, and like the captions would be all like in character and stuff like that. And then I don't know if you guys are familiar with Brutal Bob Evans or not.
Yes, I am.
So love Bob. Bob's kind of become like a mentor to me over the last few years. And he was at a show that I was at, and he was doing a seminar afterwards. So I went just to kind of pick his brain. I had never really met him in person prior to that. So I was like, oh, it'd be nice to just chat with Bob and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, Jack, I really like the way that you do social media, but I really think that you should transition to doing video content because that's what's big right now. And this was probably like September of 2022. And he said you should do TikTok. And I really was very hesitant at first because I didn't want anything to do with TikTok. And, but I did it, and I filmed a couple things, posted my first video on at midnight, which, I don't know if it really matters what time you post stuff, but from what I've heard, that's probably not the best time to post things.
Right.
But I went to bed probably like 4 a.m. that day because I had to stay up late for whatever reason. And when I looked before I went to bed, I was like, oh, it's got 5,000 views. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Because on Facebook, if I posted like a match clip, I was lucky if it got 100. It's like, oh, 5,000, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up the next day and it had 25,000. Like, oh, okay. By the time it hit 24 hours, it had 100,000 views.
Oh, wow.
So I had filmed 2 videos. So I posted the second one the next day. And within 24 hours, that one had done 200,000. And then I panicked because I didn't have anything else
anymore.
Yeah. So I posted like a video of me just hitting like one of my big clothesline from hell spots. And like it still did okay. It did like 10,000 views, but then that's when I quickly learned, oh yeah, clips of wrestling is probably not going to be what gets me, gets me my flowers, so to speak.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how it started. And then I just, obviously at the start of it, I had so many ideas that I hadn't tapped into yet. And it just kind of caught on immediately. And that's why, like, I always tell people, like, when they ask me, like, what do I need to do to grow my social media? I tell them what I can, but then I also tell them, like, hey, like, I'm kind of an exception because, like, it just happened for me. I didn't, like, really have to work to make the videos popular. They kind of just were. And maybe it's because at the time there wasn't a whole lot of people doing what I was doing, if anybody. There's people doing it now, but yeah, at the time there really wasn't a whole lot of people doing this whole like tongue-in-cheek videos to kind of get their character over. So it kind of just hit immediately for me.
Yeah, I remember watching a few of your earlier ones, but then it popped me when Aaron Williams started showing up in them. Just because I've followed Aaron since his probably since 2019. It was before COVID. And so that popped. I was like, oh, yes, let's do this. I like this idea.
Yeah, and I was a little hesitant to include other people, not because I didn't want them in it, but just because I had, by that time, had already started to get a little bit of hate online from people and didn't really want my friends to experience that. But then, I was just like, hey, like, I have an idea for a video. It needs another person. I would love for you to be a part of it. If you're not comfortable with it, no big deal. I'll figure it out. I'll, find someone else to do it. But they were all like, no, dude, I'd love to. So luckily, they haven't gotten the kind of hate that I get for the videos. But that's, I never wanted them to. They're kind of just innocent bystanders.
Yeah. Well, I think the first time I actually saw you was in New Wave Pro back in 2019. You came out in like Letterman's jacket and the whole 9 yards, and I was like, "All right, who's this guy and what's going on?" So that was probably the first time.
Bro.
Yep.
I'm still a champion there, technically.
I know.
The Higher Grounds Championship that I won, and then the next show was the one where they stopped doing shows. So
yeah.
I'm still technically one of their champions.
There you go. Well, rumor and innuendo has it they might be coming back, so we don't know yet. But rumor and innuendo.
I've heard that too. It'd be great if they did, because I did enjoy the few times I got to work for them. They were drawing well, and the shows were fun. So, I would like to see them make a return.
So has this been your 5th Squared Circle Expo, or is this just your 4th?
No, it's 5th. I've been there every year.
Every year.
Yeah. That's why I always tell Ed, like, you gotta, for Ed Gonzalez, for anyone that doesn't know, he kind of helps run the show. I always tell him, like, listen, man, I was there when nobody wanted to do the show. So you give me preferential booking.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we're always like, whenever we're like, okay, who are they announcing? We're like, well, okay, we know Jack's going to be there. We know, like, we go ahead, we run through the normals that are always there. We're like, yes, these people will be there.
Yes.
But when we were trying to come up with the people that we wanted to put on for this month to promote the Squared Circle that's coming up, we were like, well, we got to get Jack, we got to get Jake, we got to get, and Heather's, this will be Heather's 3rd year doing the podcast with us. So we're excited about all that. So you get somebody like Heather in there helping you out, and it's like, all right, yeah, we're okay. We got this.
Have you tried to get Ed?
We've talked about trying to get like Ed and Heather at the same time, but we haven't had a chance to get Ed yet. We got Adolfo last year.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had Adolfo after the fact, after the expo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Ed's been a good friend of mine for a long time, so like I know that like the leading up to Squared Circle Expo, that guy is just like all nerves, and he's got so much stuff on his plate and so much to worry about. So like I get it.
I've never actually talked to Ed. The only time I ever see him is at the Expo, and I just think I got to give this guy some room, because between him and Heather and Adolfo, they're always doing something. So
they're moving.
They have no time to make small talk.
Yeah.
So who has been some of your favorite guests that have been at the Expo, and who are you looking forward to seeing this year?
This year, as soon as they announced him, I texted Ed and I said, you have to get me in a room with Bret Hart. That's all I want. If you like, you don't even have to pay me to wrestle. Just put me in a room with Bret Hart and let me shake his hand.
Yeah.
So Bret's the big one. As far as previous years, I mean, I'm usually at my table, so I don't get a chance to really mingle. But just the idea that like they had Sting there last year was awesome. Mm-hmm.
Somebody here waited the 5 hours in line.
That was a long.
Why not? It's Sting. I mean, like 5 hours is nothing when you're going to meet Sting.
Yeah. I wasn't a WCW girl, so it wasn't a top priority.
Yeah, he couldn't have been a nicer guy when I met him.
I'm sure.
Got my belt sign and everything, so it was all good.
Yeah, I grew up I was born in '85, so like I kind of grew up in the late '80s, early '90s, and then obviously the Attitude Era was a big thing because I was a teenager.
Right.
So like seeing anyone that they get from like the Attitude Era, like when they get like Godfather every year, and like say, it's the Godfather. He's that's my childhood. So
yeah.
But I'm always like this year, like they even surprised me with some of the people, like especially the late announcements, like getting Will Ospreay and some of the other people that they've managed to get this year. But yeah, this year is definitely the one for me is Bret Hart.
I think Reb, I'm not sure which one I popped more for, because I've been popping this entire time that they keep announcing these people. Like there's always someone I'm like that. But two of the ones that I'm looking forward to are the ECW guys, and Raven and Joel Gertner. I'm so excited to meet Joel Gertner. I could be a little bit. We've been doing the Extreme Effin' Review, where we've gone back and we're watching TNN ECW, and we're doing watch-alongs with it. So every week we get a lovely Joel Gertner limerick, and it's it's so fun, and we're like, okay. Although I'm kind of curious how they were able to stay on television for as long as they did with some of their comments and things. But
well, to be fair,
I know different time.
They like less. I guess the word offensive would apply than the reviews. But yeah, we've been having fun watching that stuff. I'm a few years older than you are, Jack, but I started watching during like the late '80s. So every year he's there, I have to go meet Tito Santana because he was my first favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you, I have met Bret Hart before about 10 years ago, and he was great. He was a nice guy, and got your photo with him and everything. So I don't think you'll be disappointed if you get a chance to meet him there.
Hope so. Hope Ed makes good on that.
Yeah. He better. If not, let us know. We'll talk to Heather.
There we go, yeah. Yeah, maybe I should talk to Heather. Like, Heather, give me the number Bret Hart.
Yeah, I was saying you might want to talk to Heather.
Ed will forget.
Yeah. Hey, Minderz, let's get into the wrestling aspect of the Expo.
All right, let's do it.
Jack, we know you're booked on the Saturday show, and the match you announced for we have it here is for the Prime Championship, yourself against Big Trouble Ben Bishop versus Brian Myers, and I'm trying to remember if you've been in the ring with either one of these fellows before.
So at the second Squared Circle, I had a tag match where I wrestled Brian Myers and Swoggle.
Okay, I remember that. That was my first Expo, and I remember when Swoggle and Myers teamed up. It was kind of ridiculous.
Never been in the ring with Ben.
Okay.
It's not very often that I'm in the ring with someone bigger than me.
Very true. Although I have a lot of fun watching you with Carson Drake, because that one kind of cracks me up just because he's a punk.
Yeah, no one likes Carson. He's got a very punchable face.
He does. It is a very punchable face. And he enjoys flaunting his very punchable face.
He does.
All right, so what matches are you looking forward to? Obviously, we know you're looking forward to your match. But what were some of the matches? Reb, do you have some of the matches that we've got going on there? Or was that on mine? Was that supposed to be me and I totally dropped the ball? Because, I'm good at that.
I don't have them right here, but I can get them here in a second. So just
I can get them pretty quick.
I know the one right off the top of my head that I'm really excited for is partly because it's a good buddy of mine in the match is Lord Crew versus Chavo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to the Rumble because it's now they announced recently that it's for the championship now. So
are you going to be in that also?
Are you able to be in that since you have a match that night?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to have me in the Rumble. But hey, if they need an extra guy, listen, I'll take my chances. But obviously they have guys like Cardona and Jake is going to be in it. Some buddies of mine like Dalton McKenzie's going to be in it. So, I'm interested to see the dynamic between a bunch of those guys because, they've announced a lot of the guys that are going to be on the wrestling show. So you kind of do like the process of elimination to see who's going to be in the Rumble. It's like, oh, that's an interesting group of guys.
Yeah, very interesting. But when Dalton was announced, I popped for that one too because I've seen Dalton wrestle. I can't wait for Reb to see Dalton wrestle. He hasn't seen him wrestle yet. And I was like, you have to. It's Haas fight. It's great. It's Dalton's great. Go ahead.
He's like a new age Scott Steiner.
He really is. I love it.
But like early 90s Scott Steiner.
Like neon colors and so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got. What did you have, Reb? Because I know you were.
Well, I've got the matches. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 matches for Saturday, not counting the Rumble.
Okay.
So
let's get Jack's picks. Let's have Jack pick.
Let's do that.
We do this. We make picks on who we think's going to win, and we give the pluses and the minuses and all that fun stuff. So some of them we know, some of them we don't, but it's all good. Go for it, Reb.
First up, we've got. Well, I don't think we need to ask you a pick in your match. I think
obviously
we all know where we're going there.
Picking Brian Myers.
Jack's going to beat them all up. It's great. It's fine. Don't worry.
All right. First up, we've got the newest Rockers defending the SCX Tag Team Championship against the Headbangers.
I'm rooting against Al Snow, so Headbangers.
Is that
doesn't
an OVW
surprise
thing?
me.
Yes. I have nothing against Cal. I'm just rooting against Al.
That's fair.
Fair enough. Reb, I'm surprised you didn't wear your Mrs. Foley Baby Boyd's favorite wrestler.
That's the one I don't have.
Oh,
I thought you had it.
No, that's
We're gonna have to fix that.
Barry was wearing that one yesterday.
Oh yeah, Barry wore that last night.
No, I've got the grab a hold, bang the super kick, get off my lawn shirt.
Nah.
Yeah.
which is just classic. But it's also buried in my wrestling T-shirt trunk in my room in there, so it takes a lot of work to get to the bottom of that one. All right.
Hey, I don't have to bury mine are all on a shelf. They're easy to access
Well, the wife has a lot more like dresser access than I do, so I only have so many drawers to work with. So I got to have a big trunk in there.
I have like 3 drawers in my house.
I'm enjoying your Funko Pop collection you've got going on there behind you.
Oh, impressive.
It's not as big as some people's, but
Reb, show him your pride and joy. He has a pride and joy. He has the heaven. Oh, his Dusty one.
Yeah, Dusty.
Mm-hmm. Now show your action figure.
Yes,
your action figures.
I have the Heavenly Bodies.
Yeah, I love it.
And then he also has a mask from
the Grappler.
The Grappler.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, great guy.
We've had the Grappler on a couple times, so he's a lot of fun. Reb got the mask, so we're on a mask quest this squared circle too. So
I've been perusing eBay. Also, I found the Assassin and the Destroyer on eBay, but I gotta save my pennies before I can
get it.
All right, what's another match, Reb?
All right, so you kind of mentioned this briefly, but Lord Crew versus Chavo. And I think we're all excited about this one.
I gotta go with Crew.
I can't wait.
I know Chavo's a legend, but Crew's my boy, and Crew's a force to be reckoned with. So pulling for him.
As long as he gets fed this year. Yes. We had to bring him sandwiches last year.
Oh, really?
He didn't get breakfast, so he was hungry. But yeah, I've seen Chavo in person at pro wrestling. No, he was at 01 here and actually tag teamed with Camaro Jackson.
Okay.
And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I got to meet him, got a picture with him, autograph, whole 9 yards. And I was like, he was a really nice guy, though. Poor Reb had to miss it because, grandma's turned 90 and it happened to be on the same day. So, but he was a lot of fun. That was a good time, too. All right, what's our next one, Reb? Because we're not making picks until we absolutely have to.
No, we got till the last show before the Expo where we make our picks. But
when we're on with Jake, so.
Right. Ooh. All right, NWA US Tag Team Championship, Country Gentlemen, or Gentlermen, as it says on the flyer here, against the Soul Shooters.
I've had matches against both of these teams. This one's tough to pick. I think they're gonna get mad at me because I've known them for so long, but I think I have to go with the Kazanas, just because they're the Soul Shooters. They don't team as much as they used to. They're both kind of doing their own thing. I'm not saying that and plus they're a little bit older now. They're, my age, if not a few years more. I'm not going to, I don't want to bury them too much. But no, I think the Kazanas have the youth on their side, and also they're, wrestling a lot more as a tag team. So I think they're just going to be a lot more fluid together.
Yeah. Plus, they got Big Joe on the outside. So they have that veteran.
Reb, bring that back up. Take a look who's on the outside for the Soul Shooters.
Well. It's Joel Gertner. I didn't even notice that the first time.
I didn't think you did. I just looked up there. I was like, that looks like Joel.
That means you're going to get a limerick like live in the ring.
We're going to get.
And the team he's mentioning has shooters in their name, so
I know
could be juicy.
This can't be good. All right, what's the next match, Reb?
All right, next up here we've got ladies championship match: Freya the Slayer versus Missa Kate, Allison Kay, and Marty Bell. I'm actually really looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be really good.
This one's so far probably the toughest one to call, I think.
Well, it's always tough when there's 4.
Yeah, especially when 2 of them are partners.
Right.
It's true. I think Freya's gonna retain.
He's going Minderz Law.
He's going Minderz Law. I have a list of 3 Minderz Law. He who sets it up goes through it. Never touch the belt before you win it.
Okay.
If you touch the belt before you win it, you're screwed. You're not going to get it. And if it's a multi-man match, champion usually always retains.
You forgot your fourth one. If you're in the ring with your best friend, you're going to knock the crap out of each other.
Yeah. And
that's a given. I can confirm that one to be true.
I've seen you in the ring with some of your friends. I know.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like you don't even have to communicate it. It's just like, yeah, that's just what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's one thing I think that's my favorite part about some of these guys that are wrestling, that they don't have to have a plan of what's going to happen. They're able to just call it in the ring. Because to me, that's more entertaining. That's just me, though.
It's more fun too for me.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're feeling like, if the psychology is going a certain way in the ring, you don't want to have to just switch because, we called the spot. Come on.
And that's, that's a problem that a lot of young guys run into now, is that they want to know every single thing they're going to do. But if the fans aren't buying it, then they don't have a plan to get out of it and to change things up. So, I tell guys all the time, like, yes, it's fine to have spots, but, know how to work on the fly, because it's going to help you a lot in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. Rip, what else we got?
We've got another one I'm looking forward to. World Heavyweight Championship, Tom Latimer versus Heath. We saw Heath get thrown across the top of a bar in St. Louis last year.
We did. Camaro sent him flying. We like that Camaro, Jackson.
I'm trying to think, man. I've never met Latimer, and I want to say Heath because I know him and he's a good dude, but I feel like Latimer's on a roll right now.
He is.
I feel like Latimer's going to retain.
I think you're right there. I think you're right. But we've all right. What's another one, Rep? Because I just thought of a question, and I'm going to wait till we get through all this because I'm not going to jump the rail.
Okay, I got one more.
Okay.
Carson Drake versus Enzo for the World Television Championship.
I love how quick he answered that. Yeah, I don't care. Anybody but Carson.
I'm sure Carson will find a way to weasel out of it and, keep that title. But, man, it'd be nice to, see Enzo just, smack him in the mouth.
Right?
Look at his face right there. God, I just want to punch him I want to punch my screen.
Right?
Well, oh, my God.
I have to chuckle because he actually, where's it at? So my first squared circle, Rep, take the picture down. Oh, so my first squared circle I went to, I think he was the first wrestler we saw as we walked through the entrance and got in there. He talked me into buying this.
Of course he did. Oh man, look at that hair.
Right?
Actually, I think the Jack Vaughn shirt that I have, I think I bought from Carson at the table.
That would make sense. That would make sense. Somehow that makes sense.
All right. So I want to know, Jack.
Do you guys need me to get more lighting, or am I okay?
Oh no, you're good.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Did you not see the open where we had Jack Victory in his truck?
Oh yeah,
he was in his semi.
Okay. Making sure
we have more than a few people in a car.
Yeah, we've had more than a few people in a car, so you're good.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I'm not doing the car indie promo.
Oh, we get plenty of them. Trust me. We get plenty.
Whether parked or driving.
Yeah, we've had both, which makes us extremely nervous because we're like, please don't wreck. Please don't wreck. So I have a question. Is there any move that some of these younger guys come to you say, I'm going to do this spot, and you say, no, we're not? Is there a move that you just absolutely say no?
Basically any move that would require me to be dropped on my head.
Yeah. And
it's not because that being said, I've taken a pile driver within the last 3 months, but it was also from a person that I trust very much. But the part of the reason is because I don't want to take the risk. I don't want to, I'm coming up on 40. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to wrestle. So I want to maximize the time that I can, and I'm not taking any risks with my neck or head.
Understandable.
Yep.
How was Europe?
Oh, Europe's great.
I say you just got back because I know you went over there with Jake and Aaron.
And Aaron, yeah.
Yeah.
It was my I've gone 3 times now, and Europe's wonderful. Like we've been lucky that we've hit different countries every time we've gone, and get a lot of time to sightsee and travel. And I was very happy that this last trip was actually kind of not organized by me, but was kind of set up by me from people reaching out to me. And I was glad that I was able to make it happen because it was 2 countries that Jake had never been to.
Oh, nice.
So, and if you know Jake, I mean, he's been to like 40 countries or something like that now. He's been all over the world. So
Yeah.
I was very happy to be able to like get him to some new places.
Oh, he is Mr. International after all.
That he is.
What were you going to say, Reb? And I cut you off. I apologize.
Well, I was just going to ask, you mentioned that you're kind of in the, I don't want to say the twilight of your career. That's a really weird cliche to say, but as you're getting like into your veteran status, is there anybody that you haven't been in the ring with yet that you want to get a chance to?
The one guy, so there's 2 guys. One of them is more likely than the other right now, unless I get a WWE contract, which is probably unlikely. But the 2 guys that I would really love to wrestle before I'm done are Gunther and Samoa Joe.
Oh.
And Joe, I think Samoa Joe, that's still a possibility. I don't know exactly what his AEW contract entails. Like, I don't know if he's still allowed to do indie bookings, but if he is, then I would love to get a chance to get in the ring with him. I've been wrestling since 2004 and just have never really crossed paths with him. And I'd love to get a chance to get in the ring with him.
I'd pay good money to see it. I'd pay good money to see it.
He's been one of my favorite wrestlers since I started. Like, my favorite match I've ever seen live was a Ring of Honor show. It was him and CM Punk in a 60-minute draw.
Oh, was that number 1? The first one?
It was the second one. I think the second one was in Dayton.
I think that was the second one was in Chicago. I remember.
Oh, okay. Then it was the first
one.
So
it would have been the first one. That was, man, all those matches were so good that they had back then.
Yeah. That entire show was a lot of fun. But yeah, that match in particular was like I was actually in training at the time. I don't think I was done training with Shark yet. And it was just further confirmed, like, yes, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. You say that, and here I can see Mr. Thigh Slap and Joe that just walks away from guys jumping off the top rope. And I'm like, this is going to be great. I'm going to love every bit of this.
Yeah, and I love that spot so much. And it's one that I would love to start doing. But I feel like it's such a specific Joe spot.
Yeah.
That it's like no one else can do it until he's done.
Yeah. I mean, It's called the Joe walk away for a reason.
Yeah. It's so tied to him.
But yeah, so let's see. Rep, I'm going to go ahead. I've got the Black Label Pro show. I know we don't have the pictures for it.
Right.
But I will go ahead and run down what they have announced for their matches on Friday night.
Okay.
Which I'm looking at this and I'm trying to think because, we had planned on what? 1 pro photo op this year?
I planned on 1 and I think I'm doing 5. So
I planned 2 and I think I've got 6 in the line already. So let's hope we didn't mess up our schedule too much. Hold on 1 second, Rep, talk. I don't want my music. Don't do my music. I will hurt you.
Hang on, I get it.
No, don't do my music. I don't like you right now. Damn it, Reb.
All right, I got to stop or else I have to pay. But
okay.
It's the trombone is what gets me with the...
I know you love it, and I want to punch you in the face every time.
I want to set that as my alarm on my phone, like in the morning, because I think that would get me out of bed with some energy.
Maybe. All right, so we're going to kick this off with Tony Atlas has an open challenge. Jack, what you doing Friday night?
Atlas, really?
Yeah.
Is it like an open foot challenge?
I was going to say, yeah, make sure you have boots on, but...
You know what? I'll answer it. I'll answer the open foot challenge.
It says, who will answer the open challenge You at Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Reply to this or submit your video here as to why you should be chosen. Okay.
I think Minderz already submitted hers.
No, I did not. No, I can't take a bump. I ain't gonna do that crap. Next, Reb, I know you and I are both excited about this just because it's CCW and yeah.
Mhm.
We got Myron Reed, the champion for BLP Midwest Championship, going against Super Crazy, which ought to be really good. Really good match.
Sure. It's hard to watch a Myron Reed match and not be impressed.
Right?
Yeah.
You know,
he's real good.
And then
I don't listen. He does that one spot where he does a cutter out to the outside of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
He does it all the time, and I, for the life of me, can't understand how he still is able to walk. Like, that just seems like the hardest. Oh my god, I can't even imagine doing it myself.
I wonder how many times he's broken his tailbone.
I mean,
I would think at least once, but at least.
You would think. I mean, it's a spot you see him do a lot, and it's just like every time I see it, I'm just like, it like hurts me to watch.
Right. Next, we got Mackeyhausen. It's a tag match against Bang and Matthews, formerly known as the Bang Brothers.
I don't think. Can you still say that?
I don't know.
Legally, as long as you say, I always call them not the Bang Bros because legally we're saying they're not the Bang Bros. So I think that clears us of any issues.
Maybe you can say it if you say it as a question.
Finger quotes.
The Bang Brothers?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Bang Bros?
Bang and Matthews. We'll just leave it at that. Bang and Matthews.
Okay, that works.
Lots of people don't know who Bang and Matthews are until you say the rest of it.
Yeah.
There's the tag team you can Google now.
Yeah, there you go. We got Layla Hirsch. I'm excited to see Layla in the ring.
Okay.
Against, Reb. It's one of those names I can't pronounce. Mayu? Miyu?
Miyu?
Yamashita?
Yamashita.
I'm terrible. I'm terrible at those names. Terrible. All right, let's see. Do we have any other? There was another one here. We've got a triple threat, actually, match, which I'm really excited about. It's Rachel Armstrong, Billy Starks, and Zoe Lucas. So I'm really excited about that one. I've been watching Billy Starks again. I've been watching her since 2019, probably since she started. Yeah. So now to see where she's at with like AEW and going against Mercedes Moné a couple weeks ago, it's amazing how far she's come and gone and all that type of stuff. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, that's all I got to update on. What you want to go to now? This is how we run our show. It's never like
it's pretty loose. So
it's that that shoot from the hip. Yeah, that's pretty much what we do.
In our case, since we pull the gun out and then the barrel falls off, then we have to put it back on again, and then we shoot from the hip.
All right, Jack. If somebody was to ask you, never met you before, what would be the one match you would tell them to go watch?
So there's two that come to mind. One of them was actually with Jake Oman. I want to say it was in 2022. It was a White River Wrestling show. And then the other one was actually a little over a year ago. It was for the OVW title against Tony Gunn. And the reason I picked those two in particular is because I feel like those two matches are either one, whichever one you decide to watch, I feel like they're both really good showcases of everything that I'm capable of doing. You know, because I feel like a lot of people, because of the TikTok, they think that I'm just like kind of a jokey, kind of sticky wrestler. But I feel like those matches incorporate, you know, sort of the goofy side, but also shows like, hey, like I'm actually, you know, I can be serious and I can be intense and, you know, I can really go out there and be a menace.
Well, I'm going to go to your sticky side for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had a show down in St. Louis last year that we were really bummed that we didn't make it to. Reb, you knew I wasn't going to let this go. You knew I wasn't. So you and I have what's the word I'm looking for, Reb? He's not exactly my favorite person.
A fondness, I would say.
Oh, it's not a fondness. Anyway, one Ben Trust.
Yeah.
I don't like him. He doesn't like me. I don't like Ben.
Okay.
So how was it to hit him with a Pokemon? I just want to know.
Oh man, very satisfying. Very satisfying. And I'm not even a big Pokemon guy myself, but when you see a giant Snorlax in the crowd, and Ben Trust's history with hating Pokemon, I mean, you got to do it for the fans, right?
Right.
And I swung that thing. I slung it at him.
It made my night when I went back and watched it. I enjoyed that a lot.
How long did it take you to come up with the name Jacket Off for that match?
So that was actually something that I've been doing for a couple of years now. The first time was at a local show for a company called NWF, and I kind of just I was wrestling this guy named Big Rex, and he wore a jacket very similar to mine in the ring, and I just made a joke on social media like, we're going to compete to see who has the best jacket. So when I got to the show, I was like, I don't know why the term jacket off came to my head, but I was like, I'm not going to tell the promoter. The promoter's a guy that I've known since I first started. So, and I knew he would not like it, but I knew the fans would. So I was like, you know what? They agreed to let me cut a promo. And I was just like, I'm going to get the fans to chant jacket off. And I did. And we had the world's first ever jacket off in wrestling. And it's something that I've done a handful of times throughout my career. So, when they approached me about having a jacket off on the Jack Vaughn indie show, it's like, well, of course. I mean, if it's a Jack Vaughn show, we got to have a jacket off.
It's gotta.
Yeah. And Ben's got the best jackets in the biz.
You had some stiff competition with that because Ben's jackets are on
They're
point.
impressive. They're impressive. But you know what? I think a lot of people prefer the classic design of the veteran jacket.
Of course.
Classic satin.
We actually did get to see him last night at the PWE show that we went to. Mm-hmm. Poor guy. I'm ready. I hate him so much that I want him to get back in the ring because I'm ready to see him get punched in the face again.
I get it.
But he's probably still out for the rest of the year. And it's frustrating.
It's really sad for the fans because they don't get to see Trust in the ring. Because you joke, Minderz, he is very good.
He is good in the ring, but I didn't say that. No, you're gonna.
Oh, you won't tell him that.
No. Kayfabe, right here. Kayfabe.
I wouldn't tell him that either.
Right? He's got a big enough head. He doesn't need a bigger head, so it's all good. All right. Well, Reb, we've kept Jack here about 45 minutes. I say we need to let him go.
Yeah, Jack.
This has been so much fun.
This has been awesome. Thanks for making the time on a Sunday to talk with us. We'll definitely catch up with you at the Expo and probably bug you a good bit. And,
that's what we did last year. We hung out at his table and Jake's table and Lord's table. That was kind of where we went. That was our little circle.
You were drawn to the Cincy boys, Minderz.
I love the Cincy boys.
Well, what's not to love?
Exactly. All right, Jack. We are so excited to get to see you come the end of the month. We will be there with bells on, and it'll be a great time. So we will catch you then.
Sounds good. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was fun.
I'm
so
glad we finally got him on here.
We've been trying to get Jack for a while, and I'm glad it happened.
And it's just been that everybody's busy, and I totally understand that. I understand that completely.
Yep. As we say, life happens. I think that should be a new shirt, Minderz. Life happens.
Nah. I think somebody else probably already has that.
Speaking of shirts, Minderz, what do you say we pay some bills real quick before we get out of here?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, here we go. All right. Well, Minderz, like we said, this is just the beginning this month for Squared Circle Expo month, and I think Jack was a great kickoff for this.
Of course, I was excited.
Yeah. Next week, we're actually going to be joined by our buddy Toby Hope, who is actually a vendor at the Expo this year for Hope Promotion.
And I guess he's the one I'm going to have to thank.
Yeah, he sponsored a couple of the guests for the Expo, one of whom Minderz is very excited about. But we'll let him talk about that next week.
We might have another guest next week too. But
possibly, yeah.
To be determined.
To be determined.
Actually, a couple of them, honestly.
But possibly, card subject to change. We'll see.
Yeah.
But we for sure are getting Toby back to chat, talk about what he's doing. Then, of course, Heather Owens is going to join us, as she does every year before Expo time. Jake Ullman, Jeremiah Plunkett.
As he does every year.
Yeah. We're going to get Plunkett the week after the Expo to talk about it. And yeah.
If we don't get some video of Plunkett while we're there.
If we don't, we might, because we got some other friends that are going to be there that we know about.
We do. The X-Bombers are going to be at the Squared Circle on Saturday.
Yep. They are not appearing. They're not booked. They're just going to be hanging out.
They're going to be hanging out with us.
Well, they'll be hanging out with Plunkett, and then we're going to bug them.
Well, they're going to hang out. They want to be there for the whole thing, so they'll be around.
Yeah. So that's what we have coming up. Like I said, this is going to drop podcast form on Thursday. And it's also, we're putting this interview up as a Patreon, ahead for our Patreon users to get a little bonus content. And then Tuesday, there is a regular Jumping the Rail show. It's a unique one. That's all I'm going to say. So you're going to want to check that out on Tuesday, usual time, 6:00. And then, we'll go forward. The Extreme Action Review podcast, still every Friday, 9 a.m. on Spotify and Apple, or Audible. And it's been a long day. And Independent Wrestling Shootout, we've got, I believe we got the Cobra on Wednesday, Minderz. Very exciting.
We do. We're
going to the Pro Wrestling Glory show.
Yeah, we're going to talk to him about fighting with Rhino.
Yeah, he's got Rhino
Saturday.
this weekend.
Yep.
So we got all kinds of good stuff going. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook at Jumping the Rail or the JTR Podcast Network.
Don't forget to check out Jack Vaughn on all his socials. We forgot to have him say
if you aren't following Jack on TikTok, you really need
dumb.
to.
No, I'm
Don't
sorry.
No,
you're not. No,
you're missing out.
You're missing out.
But yeah, get us on Instagram at Jumping the Rail, JTR Podcast Network. You can get. We have a TikTok we never use, so we have nothing on it necessarily. We're working on that.
There's some stuff on it. Of course, you have some stuff on it.
Right. Then, of course, if you're watching this on Patreon, you know where to find us, but it is patreon.com/JTR Podcast Network. And other than that, Minderz, let's say we get out of here. And thanks, everybody, for joining us for this. Big thank you to Jack Vaughn for hanging out with us for a few minutes. And until next
Tuesday.
Yep, until Tuesday. For Minderz, this is Rev. Remind you all, life is hard, work stiff. We'll see you guys next.
Thanks, guys.